So the classic auto air kit comes with this plate, and this plate mounts up to the firewall and it covers up all these holes. I want to see how this fits up there. And interestingly, it's got this kind of a spongy gasket thing on the back. It's probably, I don't know if you can see that, not quite a 1/4 inch thick. So I guess their intention is just to kind of squish that up against here. It uses these two holes to mount. It doesn't use all, it has all these other holes, but they want you to drill those. So these two go right there. That bolts this plate in. And there's a little notch here for the pinch weld. And then they want you to drill all these other holes and put bolts through. And then that gasket is supposed to seal it. But it's not really an exact science here. And there's a seam right here on the firewall. So I was thinking maybe this would follow that seam and fit real nice, but it doesn't. Just kind of goes right over the top of the seam. I'm not sure how much I like that. All right, so we got our plate all cut to fit the firewall now. And so that goes on the firewall. Then you have your firewall in the middle. And this is the plate that comes as part of the kit. This is what your evaporator unit mounts to on the inside of the truck. And the way that works is they want you to put a bolt here and a spacer there. And that mounts up like this. All right, so that's what that's going to look like when it's all mounted. So we got this on the firewall. This essentially is the firewall now. And then these spacers would be on the inside. And they have these little bolts. But I don't want those bolt heads showing on my firewall. So I've got a little different idea. And I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to weld that bolt down in the hole like that, but how do I make sure when I weld it that it stays exactly centered? Because this can move around in there. So what I'm going to do for that is I'll take a nut. This one happens to be a flanged nut, but I'm going to put it on backwards so that this little beveled edge kind of rides down in that inside of that pipe. just like that. So that should keep that perfectly centered. Let me explain what I got going on here so far. I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. So this is our plate. This is the plate that mounts to the inside of the truck, and that whole evaporator unit hangs off of this black plate. So there's going to be some weight on there. And the way that the kit comes, it's just got these two bolts that stick through with spacers, like that. So what I don't like about that is that's a lot of weight to hang off of those two little spacers with bolts. And when you're going down the road and your suspension is cycling, you're hitting bumps, that whole evaporator unit is sitting way out here, bouncing up and down. And these could eventually start moving. That little bolt head, I could see it starting to make indents or start to warp that plate in the firewall a little bit. I feel much better having this beefed up a little bit. So I have a thicker piece here with a welded bolt, and then I put a gusset on there to distribute that load. When that weight is pushing down out here, that's going to distribute that force all the way down through the panel instead of just in one little localized spot. So I'm really happy with this. This seems really strong. I'm going to be able to grind that down on the outside, so this will be completely smooth, no bolt head sticking out. It'll look nice, and it'll be super strong on the backside. So I'm going to get to work making another one of these for down here. That's what we got. I decided not to trust that bottom one because it's already really strong, and it's starting to warp this metal because of all the heat we're putting into it from welding. So I'm going to have to hammer that straight before we mount it in the truck. And then there's going to be 2 more bolt holes that also go in the firewall somewhere. So I think between all that, should be plenty strong to hold that unit. And this truss on the main one here is going to give a lot of extra strength. So I'm happy with that. Okay, we got the panel all welded in. This is really strong, really solid, it's flat and straight. So we'll put some Duraglass all the way around it. And then on the inside, that's what it looks like. It's welded all the way around. And this is really super strong. This is going to be a really nice strong mounting point for that bracket that holds the AC unit in here. So I'm really happy with that. And this will all be sanded and painted. I'm going to paint the whole cab. I'm going to repaint this whole thing top to bottom. So this is just prep work for that. So I'll keep the updates coming on this truck. This is it's an 86 GMC 2500, and it's going to be a show truck. So it's going to be really nice. So if you guys are interested in seeing this kind of stuff, I'll keep posting up videos. See ya.